Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Attaining the Second Cognition. I'm Endall Beall. I'm going to deliver another unscripted video here, and this is probably one of the most enlightening and profound videos that anybody is going to be able to listen to that is seeking enlightenment. All of this stuff we've been peddled for thousands of years about spirit and angels and this, that, and the other, talking to dead people across the veil, and everything that gives the definition to what we think spirituality is has nothing to do with enlightenment. As much as that may create dismay in a lot of people, the fact of the matter is this process has nothing to do with mystical, magical thinking, beliefs, ideas, wishful thinking, or communion with some alleged concept of the divine. The process to gain enlightenment is purely and totally psychological. The reason that people suffer so much psychological discomfort is because it is a psychologically uncomfortable process to unseat the false personality in your mind called the ego. This false personality is going to fight you tooth and nail every step of the way to keep you from accessing what each one of you contains as a form of innate consciousness. The ego is a program. It's an overlaid program that has convinced you that it is you. In order to gain so-called enlightenment, to step into that state of higher cognitive awareness, the so-called state of emotional bliss, you have to get rid of this program. The process to enlightenment is a constant battle of deprogramming the beliefs you have in the external world, the beliefs you have about yourself that this false personality has told you. Buddha taught that the road to enlightenment was within. Jesus taught the kingdom of heaven lies within. Friedrich Nietzsche taught that the path to his overman consciousness came from a journey within and going through the psychological unrooting of the ego. Don Juan told Castaneda that he wanted to see his person die. Person in that particular teaching means ego. Now, if these four profound teachers who had attained a higher level of human consciousness say that this road is about going within and not reaching out to the external universe looking for the gods or the divines or the angels or whatever, maybe you ought to listen to them, because every one of them went through the same psychological process that we have to reach this state of innate consciousness that the ego steals from each and every one of us. This is not a magical, mystical, woo-woo process. And unfortunately, after over 100 years of institutionalized psychology, psychologists still haven't figured this out. They're too busy trying to repair the ego and help it fit back into its cultural milieu than to try and help people cure themselves of this virus called the ego. Their high intellect and their degrees on their walls makes their egos feel infinitely qualified to tell other people how to live their lives. It's just egos repairing egos. They're ego repairmen. The latest branch of psychology, transpersonal psychology, is going down the same road as every mystical tradition that's been handed to humanity for the last 6,000 years. Let me ask you this. If all this mystical stuff had an ounce of validity to it, then how come we're not an enlightened culture? It's because it's not mystical. It's psychological. Why is it psychologically painful? Because the ego doesn't like to have its feelings hurt. It doesn't like its world of illusion exposed for the bullshit that it is. It doesn't want us to admit that the things we believe about ourselves have been plugged into us by this ego, and it's its beliefs that convinces you that they're your beliefs. Beliefs don't stand up. There's nothing to support a belief when you finally analyze it except wishful thinking. If you want to gain enlightenment, then you got to get rid of all of this spiritual, mystical focus, because it's about psychological cleaning house. cleaning that goddamn ego program out of your attic. And it's going to be psychologically painful. It's going to be hurt because we all have to look in the mirror and recognize that this ego part of us has lied to us our entire lives. It lies to us about our perceptions on our cultures. It lies to us about our perceptions about ourselves. So if you're thinking this mystical stuff is going to give you a magical fix to where you can just feel good forever, reach nirvana and run around with a ditzy grin on your face, you're never going to find enlightenment because it doesn't exist, as I expressed in my previous video. This is a psychological process, and the sooner the psychologists pull their heads out of their asses and realize this, maybe the trade can become valuable other than what it is. Perpetuating the virus, perpetuating the herd mentality. So this is the grand spiritual bubble buster. There is no enlightenment through any mystical process. It's all a lie, a gigantic L-I-E lie, folks. You want to gain access to your innate inner consciousness, you have to kill this program. That's what it is. This is the big spiritual bubble buster, and if you don't want to accept it because it makes your ego uncomfortable, tough shit. But you're not going to gain that higher state of consciousness unless and until you destroy this ego. I don't write these rules, but this is the condition for advancement, and it's non-negotiable. You either go through this grueling process or you do without. And if you don't have the courage and the stamina and the willingness to face the truth of this, then you're on your own. You're never going to get there, and I mean, you got my sympathy. As for the rest of you, stay the course and don't give up on yourselves.